back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here. And we're going to be doing a reaction video to a channel I follow. And her name is Kate, Mostly Good with Money. So I actually found her where we actually are growing. Well, she surpassed me. So good for you, Kate. Real talk. But anyways, we both started as smaller channels here on YouTube around the same time. Like I think I found her when she had maybe 100 subs. I probably had around the same. Anyway, so you know she does finance stuff, but she's certainly not a guru, which is why I enjoy her content. I don't agree with absolutely everything. She just some life stuff, but overall, I really like her content. And this video, in particular, I really like a lot because it goes into the bigger discussion of being frugal, right? And but not only that, but also like the way that especially our generation, Kate, I think is the same age as me, around there. Maybe she has a year or two on me or something like that. Anyways, I'm 33. I think Kate is maybe 34. I think I heard her say something like that. I'm sorry, Kate, if I'm wrong. But anyway, she has good content, and she really just like gives you frugality tips. But she also talks about other stuff too, like she'll bring on her stories about like living in New York. I haven't watched that one fully. I think that one went pretty damn viral. It's her. At least I saw had like 20,000 views or something, like just pop up. So good for you, Kate. But anyway, so there's this topic of that she'll go into here of stop telling people to look poor. To look poor, right? So this is a bigger topic that goes into frugality. Yeah, sort of, but mostly it's the older generations. Well, I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not even gonna do that. I don't want to make this a generational thing or a man versus woman thing. I don't want to do any of that. This is like purely a rich versus a rich and those who prop up the rich and give us gaslighting messages, okay? Which is what I really despise too, and Kate does too, and she'll break it down here. But anyway, so I personally really despise it because they give us, our generation, a lot of gaslighting things like, oh, just stop buying Starbucks and then you're going to have enough money and become a millionaire. Bullshit like that, Anyway, so I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to do a reaction. You guys already know who I am, right? And on my best life, Paraguay. We're going to get into this. Okay, here we go.
A few months ago, everywhere I turned on YouTube, I kept seeing video after video telling people that they need to look poor, that it's important to look poor. And the insinuation in a lot of these videos, and yes, I watched a bunch of them now, is that by looking poor, you will get ahead financially. And I quote from one of them, "If you want to get rich, you need to look poor." Now, I thought this trend had died months ago, but alas, there I was, innocently scrolling on YouTube a few days ago, and what do I see? More of these godforsaken videos with this exact same title. This trend just won't seem to die, and these videos don't sit well with me for a bunch of reasons, so let's unpack it all in this video today. Now, what these people seem to largely be saying, or trying to say in these videos, is live simply, live within your means, be frugal, don't fall victim to lifestyle inflation, and that's fine. But then that's what they should have titled their videos. That should be the content in their thumbnail. But it's not. They've intentionally chosen the word poor. So these creators using this phrase either, one, do not understand the word poverty, which is pretty troubling if they have an entire platform and channel dedicated to personal finance and money, or two, they're specifically and intentionally misusing the word poor to get clicks. And both of these are bad. Now, I just want to say up front, I'm not hating on any particular creator. I like some of these creators. I watch some of their other content. This is just content that I see everywhere, not just on YouTube. And it's frustrating because I think it perpetuates negative stereotypes about the poor, and I think it perpetuates false narratives about the wealthy. So I just had to make this video today kind of off the cuff. I didn't really plan this because I just kept seeing these pop up on my feed, and It's annoying me. So here we go. First of all, saying just look poor contributes to the narrative that wealthy people are wealthy because they are frugal, because they buy Kirkland jeans or wear a $20 Timex watch or have an old iPhone. And some of these videos did, in fact, cite examples of Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and Mark Zuckerberg as some of our favorite frugal billionaires. Stop. Please just stop. This isn't why people are rich. This isn't how people get rich. So please be so fucking for real right now. And please stop. I beg of you. There is this myth that just won't seem to die that millionaires are extremely frugal, and that's a big reason why they got to where they are today.
Okay, we're going to pause right here. She's going to go into numbers and all this, and it's fucking amazing. But anyways, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I got friends back home that like just idolize the shit out of like Elon Musk or like, or back in the day used to be like Bill Gates or like, yeah, Warren Buffett and shit. I'm like, for what, dude? Like, you know that all of them started pretty much upper middle class, and I'm not hating on that, right? And a lot of them, like, I mean, you know, maybe they weren't nepo babies like a Trump was, you know what I mean? Like nepotism, like fucking born baby, trust fund baby, whatever you want to call them. There's different terms in different countries, etc. But yeah, no, absolutely. Like so many Americans idolize these fucking people, and then they like give us like, oh, well, it's just because he ate ramen noodles and didn't go out, so that's how he got rich, type shit. Like, nah. And she's gonna break this stuff down, but man, dude, it's so frustrating, man, because like they're like, what? And it's not even. I'm not even gonna say it's the entire like older generation, but it's like it's either those who made it and are detached from everybody else's struggles, especially the younger generation struggles to like affordably live, which is why she's making her channel, why I made my channel. Essentially, let's be honest here, like, you know, I probably would be living in the US if it was way more affordable, you know, and I was getting up there in my salary, etc. But even the projection was just like, you know, it was depressing trying to analyze these things to be able to like see a bright future, you know. So like, and yeah, I am so sick of the idolization of these fucking people too. Like, you know, yeah, and you know, she'll get into like, you know, yeah, like this. I always use the Starbucks example because like they're just always like, you stop buying coffee, you know, like I'm just like, dude, stop buying coffee. Is not gonna put on your fucking dreams, okay? Like Kate's, I don't think this is even Kate's final solution or anything for her channel or goal, but like she teaches you how to be frugal, which actually I don't preach enough. But the reason I'm able to do this as like a relatively average guy is because I live a pretty frugal life. That's why I don't go downtown to like Asuncion every night, even though you guys might want to see like all the girls at the bar and all this shit. But like, bro, that's not my channel. Like my channel is like to bring you to reality, seeing that like, you know, leaving is a great option for you. You know, obviously there's steps to take: residency, figuring out something remote, or having a decent amount of savings for, don't even say 6 months, a year or two or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean, or something like that. But you know, we're looking for solutions here, okay, for the average person, okay? And we're not just like, oh well, you go down the same route that Elon Musk did or Warren Buffett, you know. Anyways, so salute, Kate. Let's keep going.
Yeah. In another one of these videos, the creator says, and I quote, "The everyday rich person becomes rich because they see the importance of looking poor." So that's exactly what these people are saying. Forgo small luxuries and this is how you will attain wealth. And that's crazy because this advice acts like it's an even playing field for everyone. Like if everyone were to apply this advice, then everyone is going to have the same outcome. Like this advice is fine for some people, especially for people who are middle class, who are already somewhat stable, who are already privileged, who have had access to education and opportunity. Then sure, cut back on a few small expenses, invest it into your 401k for the next 4 years, and you probably will become a net worth millionaire at some point. But that's not looking poor, that's exercising financial planning skills and living within your means.
Yeah, I'll just really quickly say, like, you know, that advice doesn't apply to everybody, and like You guys, I hate that I have to bring this up because I know it sounds like some woke ass shit, but like, let's just be honest here, man. That applies mostly for like upper middle class white folks than it does for like black folks and brown folks. Man, if you're telling us that we need to dress down as much as possible, get the fuck out of here. No, in fact, like, there's many times where we need to dress up to be taken seriously. And when you're living in a society like America or Canada, where, let's just be honest, there's going to be discrimination at times, okay? So, like, and believe me, I'm not going to go on a whole woke rant or nothing like that, but there's just stats that prove that, if your first name is Jamal or Jose or something like that, a black name, or a Hispanic name or something, you're going to get less callbacks, you know what I mean? And that's already on top of a hard fucking market to get a job in anyways. I'm not trying to make this a racial thing, but like, if we're going to pretend like race is not a part of like our countries, the US and the Canada, we're just being as delusional as everybody else. Okay, let's continue.
And this advice just completely neglects the reality of actually being poor or low income. And it's kind of blaming people in that situation because it treats all of this as a simple, solvable problem if you just make food at home and buy cheap clothes. And because this narrative about cutting back and living frugally, which completely ignores the reality of poverty, is so persistent, it means that it also gets falsely applied to the ultra wealthy. Let me be very clear. Warren Buffett is not a billionaire because he has been living in his old home in Nebraska for the last 50 plus years.
Get him, Kate.
He is a billionaire who happens to live in that same old home in Nebraska. There's a very big difference. And that modest home, it's over 6,000 square feet. So I don't know when 6,000 square foot became a modest home, but hey, maybe I'm just bitter from living in 400 square foot shoeboxes for the last 20 years.
You fucking tell them. Me too. Until I lived here in this 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom that's less than $400 a month here in San Lorenzo, Paraguay, in the metro area of Asuncion. Like, yeah, I was paying $1,200 to live in a fucking box with my dog, and like, and then sometimes I know they meant well or whatever, but like sometimes my friends would just be like, "Hey, bro, your dog needs more space." I'm like, motherfucker, you gonna give me the money for that? And okay, you gonna give me the money for a motherfucking car and monthly to live out in the middle of some fucking place where I'm not trying to be part of this fucking driving culture. Like, oh, let's spend 2 hours in our fucking car each way to work. Just like most of you guys are like, your dog needs more space. It's like, you think I don't fucking know that? He's a big dog. I know he needs more fucking space. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you guys. And like, so like, I know that the rich look down on us, but sometimes us in the middle class and the lower middle class, we gaslight the shit out of each other too. And I know my homies mean well. Another homie kept telling me like, "Hey, bro, like, I'll move out to Illinois," and I know he meant the best and all that, and it probably is a lot better than Wisconsin, more diverse, more this, more maybe progressive thinking in some ways, etc. Again, I'm not trying to bring politics into this, but I'm just saying, like, but for me, like, I was just like, dude, it's all the U.S. It's all overpriced. If how the fuck is moving to Chicago gonna be any better for my life? Did I get a $20,000 raise last year? No. So how the fuck is me moving to a more expensive city gonna help me in the long run? I need to move to somewhere cheaper. You know what I mean? And it's like, so like this whole gaslighting thing, and like everybody thinks they have the solution, right? And look, I know that all of this, what I show you guys on my channel, it may not be the thing for you, okay? But at least I'll give you the blueprint, and you can decide later. Maybe you don't decide right now. Maybe you come at me like 5 years and you're like, you know what, Ryan, you were right. Dude, I was just a cubicle car. I was just a peg in the wheel. I was just a fucking, whatever, screw in the machine, whatever the fuck, like, and then, my relationship didn't work because most of them don't work where we're from. It's just a bunch of shit. And then, and a lot of our relationships fail off of in one way or another off of economics. We can't progress to the next levels either. Or even if we do, economics is a huge reason why people split up. You know what I mean? Ladies might want their man to be progressing at this rate. Men might want their ladies to not be so hard on them and don't look down on them if they're not progressing at the rates. Believe me, all of us men want to be progressing and getting better, and women too, but especially us, because we're just naturally providers. It's like, just historically, that's what we are. Whatever. Let's not be all woke about it. That is true. You know what I mean? So anyways, sorry to pause again, but man, I had to bring that up because, like, goddamn, dude. Anyways, give us wisdom, Kate.
Also, this man has a private jet. Like, bitch, is that frugal? We don't get to just be like, oh, wow, this man eats at McDonald's. So frugal.
Right?
Oh, yeah, but he has a private jet. Small slip up. Like, what are you talking about? Like, these people are not frugal. The fact that they don't exercise their excessive, abundant wealth disgustingly and overtly in every single facet of their life, we're like applauding them. Please stop. Just let go of this narrative. They're not frugal. But also, as we perpetuate this narrative, this false narrative, that wealthy people are just frugal and judicious with their money, it is simultaneously suggesting that poor people are not. That if they simply budgeted or were more responsible and weren't so focused on short-term materialistic things, that they too could get ahead, which could not be further from reality.
See, this is where I was talking about too. I'm sorry to keep pausing it, but like, you know the movie Troy, with Brad Pitt, and he's Achilles, right? And then Achilles is telling the girl that slept with the niece of the king of the other side of the Trojans, right? And like, and she's what would she be? She's a temple master of the temples, whatever, of Apollo, right? And you know what he said? He said, everyone envies the gods, right? And we're gonna replace gods with rich people, wealthy, well-known people. Everybody envies them, right? And we want to be gods and close to gods and all this, right? And then he says, Achilles says, well, the gods envy the secret is the gods envy us, right? And like Kate's already sort of getting into this, but like, what did he mean by that? So he meant like, the gods envy the common man because the common man's struggle is a struggle. The rich man's struggle is no longer a struggle. You know what I mean? The common man, the man who has a little bit or hardly enough or is barely feeding his family. That's how we need to look at things, right? Like, I have more than that's how I live my life. I don't envy these motherfucking rich people, nepo babies, or they just like we're mostly lucky in the ways that they invested money, etc. I have more respect for the common man who lives across the street from me, who lives right my entire neighbors, who are making it happen for their kids. Their kids are happy. Their kids are relatively thriving. In fact, I would say most kids here are happier than kids in America and Canada, right? So that's just something. I know I take like random things from movies and stuff, but like that was very powerful. Like that the real secret is to respect your fellow man who is also in the struggle, not always looking up and making them gods and then putting them on fucking pedestals. No, those guys had a lot of luck. They had a lot of, and she's gonna break down some numbers for us. So, all right, let's get back into it.
Let's look at the stats, shall we? Only 27% of multimillionaires are self-made, according to Bank of America Survey 2022. So the majority of people who have amassed a good amount of wealth, multi-millions, not just $1 million, it's connected to previous generations. It's connected to familial wealth. That is how most people are very wealthy. It's not about frugality or looking poor. In an article from Claremont McKenna College, they interviewed economist Raj Chetty about his Opportunity Alice project, and I quote, specifically, his project draws from tax and census records to illustrate how a residential zip code, where a child grows up, is more predictive of social mobility and economic fate than any other national metric. Let me say that again. The zip code that you grew up in is more predictive of your economic outcome than anything else. And they've even done studies that show that your zip code is more determinant of your health outcomes than your genetic code. It's crazy. So the narrative that poor people can just pull.
He's absolutely right, because like me, see, I've had opportunities, educational opportunities, because I have a zip code in the United States of America. Okay. And yes, I'm genetically Paraguayan. But because of I would have had a lack of opportunities here if I grew up here. Now, that's not to say I had no internal struggles. That's not what we're talking about. Of course I had those. I have them till today. But, you know, I'd be naive I'd be delusional to say, oh yes, I've had the exact same opportunities because of my genetics as those who grew up here, as my brother and sister who grew up here. No, I had more. And yeah, I did graduate college, and I took advantage of those opportunities. But yeah, she's right. I mean, you know, you could have two brothers. One grew up in poverty in one zip code, and another in another zip code, and a richer zip code. And for whatever reason, they were split up, and one's going to do better than the other, most likely, right? Most likely. You know, yeah. Every now and then, and we love these stories. You know, there's the underdog who comes up from rags to riches, but that's normally not the case. You know. Okay, please continue, Kate.
Pull themselves up by their bootstraps to escape poverty is just plain wrong. It's been discredited over and over again. And it's fucking insulting to tell people to look poor, to use this deeply marginalized group in our society who are largely stuck in their situations because we willfully do not support low-income people in our society. It's insulting to use these people as fucking clickbait for your YouTube video that's really about frugality and not at all about poverty. But
really quick again, sorry, I keep pausing, but I normally don't really give a shit about like clickbait. I do a little bit of it myself, like are Latinos passport brains, but that's not hurting anybody. Like what she's saying is like this, when you start doing stuff like that, clickbait that's like paints a picture of a person and either paints them as stupid or incapable. Let me tell you something. My country is poor on paper. My countrymen are poor on paper, but they are the best fucking entrepreneurial minded people. I swear to God. And in a lot of cases, even women are more entrepreneurial minded than even men. You know what I mean? You know, so don't immediately assume it's just men. There's some go-getter women. And I'm not making anything of this about dating or anything. I'm not trying to talk about like traditional household or I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm just trying to say that like, yeah. And believe me, I'm not talking about like starting a Fortune 500 company tomorrow. Whatever, like a Bill Gates, but I'm talking about like, you know, starting like little businesses, figuring those steps out, doing those businesses, and then selling your stuff. I mean, so many people in the States don't even know basic sales. Most people in my country know how to sell something. You know what I mean? So that tells you something right there. Poor people are not stupid. They're not incapable. They just don't have the resources or opportunities. Please continue, Kate.
don't worry. Enter another billionaire telling poor people what to do to get ahead. Mark Cuban says that anyone who wants to get rich just needs to save aggressively and only spend on the essentials. That's so great, Mark. Never thought of that before. What do you think poor people do all day?
Yes.
If not spend on the essentials. Poor people spend their money on bills and food and rent. And a quote from Mark Cuban. I did things like having 5 roommates and living off macaroni and cheese, and I was very, very frugal. I had the worst possible car. These kinds of things. Mark, I've had roommates. I did the ramen thing. I didn't even own a car for the vast majority of my adult life. Am I wealthy now? But ultimately, by telling people to look poor, we continue to act as if the reason people are wealthy is by looking poor, and that the reason people are poor is that they don't look poor, which also doesn't really make sense. If poor people look poor, which they should since they're poor, then why are they not now financially successful, as your videos would suggest? But we're not ready to have that conversation. Let's keep turning the blame to individuals. It must be their individual spending decisions and irresponsible choices. And the thing is, if you care about actual research, which you should if your entire platform is dedicated to money or personal finance, as it is for some of these creators, then you should know that poverty is an extremely complex systemic problem, and you should know that this is probably something you shouldn't just be using for clicks. This narrative is also a roundabout way of justifying billionaires' wealth by pretending that they don't spend it frivolously, and we love to call them frugal. We love a frugal billionaire. And the rich know this, and they exploit it. They know what they're doing when they try to look down to earth. It's why Mark Zuckerberg wears $2,000 hoodies. We lust after stories about penny pinching CEOs. Every time we talk about a billionaire driving a reasonable car like a Honda and not buying expensive labels, it's trying to plant a seed that the ultra rich are just like everyone else. This adds to our fandom of the ultra wealthy, making them relatable, yet somehow still aspirational, when really we should all just be collectively furious about the wealth that they have amassed. And I know if this video gets even any views, which it probably won't, but if it does, I'm going to get hate for saying this because people have such a hard-on for rich people. By cosplaying poverty, it allows the ultra wealthy to fly under the radar in a way, and we let them. Some of the ultra rich have even employed PR firms to help sell the idea and the narrative that they are just like middle class people. And this look poor narrative embodies all of this. It insinuates that people are deserving of their wealth if they visibly engage in the moral behavior of frugality. But nobody deserves to be a billionaire. Now, I don't give a shit how anyone dresses. If someone genuinely wants to wear $10 jeans or wear sweatpants or hoodies, more power to you. But to act as if that's the reason that anyone is going to acquire wealth is crazy. Now, these kinds of titles are also problematic because they give false promises. There's an aspirational element to all of this, that if you too just make instant coffee and drive a 2007 Toyota Camry, then you too can make it. And that's a lie, because then poor people would be wealthy.
And that's my biggest problem with all this too. It's false solutions. And I know that they'll be say, well, you guys should know better and know that they're just bullshitting you. Guys, most people don't know. That's why me and Kate's channel grow relatively slow when somebody puts up a fucking clickbait shit like that. And whatever. If it's clickbait and it ain't hurting nobody, or it ain't contributing to to this fucked up thought process, whatever, if it's clickbait, whatever, the best cookies in the world, or whatever, even though they might be mediocre, who the fuck cares, but this is important stuff. This is where people look for answers a lot of the time. And that's where I got an issue with it too. You know what I mean? And they're just the whole, I'll always give the Starbucks example, stop buy Starbucks. And you're going to be rich if you just stop buying Starbucks. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, fuck you, dude. Get the fuck out of here, with that bullshit. Yes, is there elements of truth to that? Yeah, you could save X amount of money like this and this. But it comes with a mind shift. It comes with, living a frugal life like Kate does. Like I do, relatively. You know what I mean? That's why you don't see me. That's why I don't have one video at the club. And believe me, if I go to the club, I'm filming it. You know what I mean? But that's gonna come if I'm celebrating something or maybe it's somebody's birthday. But even then, I don't know. We'll see. You know what I mean? Much rather just go to a family member's house and celebrate somebody's birthday. I don't need to be clubbing all the fucking time. You know what I mean? So I'm just super sick of the gaslighting element of it all, just like Kate is. All right, let's finish this off.
Poor people are really good at making coffee at home. They're really good at driving really old cars. They do it all the time. This ridiculous lie that anyone can save millions if they just drive a cheap car and never go out to dinner. And it's also framed as this position of morality where for the ultra wealthy, frugality is framed as this incredible sign of restraint and self-control. But for everyone else, it's just a baseline requirement of our day-to-day lives. Like, of course we have to budget. Of course we have to restrict our spending. Like, duh, that's just called living. But among the ultra wealthy, we're like, wow, look at you, so resourceful. You only own 3 homes. That's impressive. And like this whole narrative about looking poor, it also just flat.
Okay, actually, I'm going to bring in a generational thing here. And I hate to do this, but I have to, because it's like where I'm from, Wisconsin, like it used to be, I mean, almost a middle class thing to have the ability to have a house in either northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, even central Wisconsin, and then have a cabin up north, right? So many like people in the boomer generation, maybe a little in the Xer, but especially in the boomer generation, like they're the ones who like, you know, really got on the ball with this stuff. But like, you know, the cabins up north thing, and believe me, I've seen some motherfucking cabins up north. You know what I mean? Like, damn, they're not just like, well, some of them are little like hunting lodges thing, but I'm talking about like, dude, some of them have multiple rooms or like modern as shit, and like, it's like essentially another house. You know what I mean? And like, so that's like our fucking generation. We can't even afford one fucking home. We can't even live together. Even to say you had a healthy relationship, with most of us don't statistically, but even if you did, it's like you still can't afford that shit. And then let alone a second one, you know, and then maybe a third, like she just mentioned, like, and then, you know, and then, oh, but it's just because I ate ramen noodles. Like, fuck it, so did we, you know? Like, shit, I drink shitty fucking Folgers coffee, the same shit they serve in fucking jail. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So, like, come on, man. Like, I know exactly what she's saying.
Oh, denigrates poor people, like insinuating and pointing to their appearance and possessions as somehow like less than, which is just fucking gross. Like one of the creators in his video actually said he wants to look homeless but be rich. Wild. It's suggesting that poor people or homeless people can't really look dignified or put together, and that all poor people have a certain look. So that also raises the question, like, please tell me, what does a poor person look like? And I'm not saying what does a frugal person look like. I'm saying, what does a poor person look like? That is how you all titled your videos.
And let me tell you something, man. So like, you know, it'd be crazy, right? The quote unquote poor, or like maybe lower middle class, or even just middle class, right? Like, let me tell you something, man. We're like my school, it's a big share of like lower, pretty solid middle, and then upper middle, and then even rich, right? Tell me why the richest girls would come in UGG boots, sweaters, messy fucking hair and stuff, and like, you know, but like the poor, you know what I mean? Like, bro, they like, you know, like they would be dolled up like Latinos are here. You know what I mean? Like, and like, you know, some of like the Asian girls, the Latinas, shit, black girls spend a lot of money like trying to look good. You know what I mean? Like, for real. And then the rich or whatever, yeah, I guess they're trying to look poor, but they just kind of look sloppy. I'm sorry if I'm offending people here. And I'm not saying that like all women have to get dressed up to the fucking nines all the fucking time. But I am saying, like, you know, presentability is a thing, and like, believe me, a lot of these girls' parents would not probably let them leave the house. Like, you go on fucking UGG boots and your hair looking like a goddamn mess, get back in and like comb your fucking hair type shit. But you know, you know what I mean? And like, so, like poor people take a lot of pride in their image, okay? And even here, that's why there's like the poor. Like there's like, ladies go to the hair salons a lot, and because like, they got to keep up their image, man, because like that goes with their business. I was just saying, a lot of people do some sort of sales here, which is entrepreneurial stuff, man. It's not stuff they create, services they provide, etc. Okay, let's continue.
You said look poor. So what does that mean? You're somehow suggesting that poor people are a monolith, that you could like pick a poor person out of a lineup, which is really problematic. And this may seem inconsequential to some, but it's really not. The language we use really matters, and messages about this in our society are everywhere. They are othering. It is oversimplifying the incredibly complex problem of poverty and treating poor people as if they are all one and the same, which can contribute to the furthering of negative stereotypes about poor people in our society, which can in turn further class disparity and class strife. We should be outraged by the fact that poverty even exists in the US and Canada, in some of the wealthiest countries in the world. And instead of being collectively disgusted by that and viewing it as the very real problem, outrage, and human rights violation that it is, we're telling people to look poor? Ew, just stop. And it really does treat poor people as a monolith, which has been widely discredited and shown to be untrue. We have actually found that there are as many differences among poor people than there are between poor people and wealthy people. So there's a huge variety of behaviors and attitudes and cultures that exist among poor people. There is no such thing as like a token poor person or what a poor person looks like. And these narratives of saying, oh, just look poor, are kind of suggesting that there is a culture of poverty, that there is a look or aesthetic to poverty, which is wildly untrue, and it's wildly problematic to perpetuate that idea in our society when we are dealing with more wealth inequality that we faced in a very long time. Language matters. You can just say, live below your means, live simply, don't keep up with the Joneses, live like a 20-year-old college kid, be frugal. Any of these things would be fine to say. Using a deeply marginalized group in our society and telling people to look like them to get rich is wild. So can we please just stop? Thank you.
Great job, Kate. Great job. Yeah, so no, she's absolutely right. I mean, look, man, as many things as like I might disagree with Kate on about like whatever personal stuff, etc. Then here, hold on. I'm so Grady. This is awful video. Awful lighting. She was worried about her lighting. My lighting is god awful. Anyway, so I'm not turning on these fucking office lights. I'm sorry, you guys. Anyway, so yeah, everything that she was saying is absolutely right. And that's where I think intelligent people, no matter if it's finance stuff, this, that, this, like it always comes back to economics, man. Here, hold on, let me get her. Let's bring up Kate's channel so you can show you guys some other videos here in the meantime. So, and I know a lot of you guys might look at that take of hers as, you being some complainer, well, you woke ass kid, you're on the left, you leftist, you can't pull yourself up in bootstraps. No, that's exactly what we're talking about. We can't pull ourselves out of the fucking bootstraps. You know what I mean? Like, where the fuck? That those times are gone. Those times are fucking over with. And then you do pull yourself out of the bootstraps and you do everything fucking society tells you to do, and then there's still no great outcome if you stay in these countries. Here, I'm actually looking for a video she did. And she comes up with, which one did I see? This one. Would I spend in a week living alone in Toronto, Canada? Okay. She's not factoring in rent in this video. I'm not gonna bring it up, but she's not factoring in rent in this video, but I commented in because she was spending like, I think she averaged, and she chose like a normal week, to around $800 plus almost $900 per week, right? And that's after rent, right? I believe so. Yeah, that's after rent. So that's what I spend in a month here in Paraguay, or less. I could spend even less than that. Yeah, I could go down to like 500 or so, or even 400 after rent. You know what I mean? But then again, I live frugally. I cook my meals. I try not to go out. Only if I have a really long day on the computer and I just don't want to bring myself to just cook a 3-hour fucking meal or something. Then I might step out and get a. Then again, I'm in Paraguay. Like our fast food, even if I got those stuff delivered, I could go under $10. I could go under like $8 if I wanted to, or even like 7 or 6. Like, that'd just be for me though, one person. Like, but like if I step out, that's like the combo meals, like at Mostazas, that food truck thing, the hamburgers, the chicken sandwiches, combos. Like a combo is like what, $4.20 or something like that, and that same combo would have been like what, fucking $14. Anyway, I bring that up because moving abroad is a solution, and it should be your retirement solution. You know what I mean? And actually, I commented in and like Kate knows the power of the dollar or the Canadian dollar or whatever, because she's been around the world. She's been to Thailand. No. Where I forgot where you've been, Kate. It was somewhere in Southeast Asia. But anyway, she understands. I think maybe Bangkok, whatever. But she understands the power of the dollar, and I don't know if she's gonna move overseas, whatever. But she gets the point, right? She's a very smart woman. And like I said, as much as we may disagree on certain things, whatever it comes to like, having somebody to be with, the long projection term of your life, about having a life partner, that's kind of where I disagree on her. The whole single woman thing, and I'm like, are you sure? Forever? You know what I mean? But anyways, that's irrelevant. We're not talking about that. But this like and like for her, she's a go-getter, man. Like this YouTube shit ain't easy, dude. Like you're putting yourself out there. You really are. So like anybody who wants to come at us and be like, your YouTuber life is so fucking easy. Is it though? Is it? I guarantee you, even a video as simple as this, man, it takes steps. You know what this is behind me? I can't close this, otherwise I would have closed it. But I'm converting a video right now, and I had some time before I step out with a lady here. So I was like, fuck it, let's do a reaction video. I haven't done one for the channel for a long time. I think that this was probably, I haven't seen all Kate's videos, but this is like, if that's not her best take, then well, I think it personally, I think it's her best take. I haven't seen, no, I guess I did watch part of this, but I think it was just playing. I didn't actually watch it. But the common theme is that like, well, and here, let me go back and say something else. You know the reason why I also am covering her and not somebody with 3 million views is because I practice what I preach. I want us who are starting up to support each other. She follows me, I follow her. Okay. And like I said, maybe not all her content, and I'm sure not all my content is for her either. Whatever, you can pick and choose, whatever. That's why you do multiple videos. But the point is that like, we're in the same mindset. And I'll just bring up that one thing. Respect your fellow man. When I say that, I mean like men and women, but respect your fellow human that is doing similar work, getting it out the mud, really trying to make something of themselves. Maybe if me and her didn't have some of the struggles that we've had, maybe neither of us would have this YouTube channel. Like, you guys know my whole story of like why I'm here and stuff. Like you know my longer story, but even like my shorter 2-year story of like I had a breakup and I was just like, fuck it, I don't want to stay in America anymore. Like, that's not the only reason. I was always going to move here, but like I just thought it would be way later in life. But like now, just like, well, hey, fuck it, I don't really want to stay in America. Let's just let's make the move to Paraguay. Okay, and that's what I did. So anyway, like, much respect, Kate. Us smaller channels, we need to support each other. I can't wait till Kate hits 1,000. That's also my goal here. Well, obviously more than that too. Like, I'm not just stopping at 1,000 subs. And like, I say subs, but you guys are actual real people, and I respect all of you who are clicking that subscribe button, sharing videos, liking videos, commenting in, hitting me up, all that. So yeah, so I got a lot of respect for you guys. Kate, great job. I don't know if you're gonna see this reaction video or not, but just keep at it. You're doing great. I know you're spending a lot of money in Canada. Man, I think, Kate, if you upend your life and then go somewhere like really low cost of living, like, man, I think your channel could just shoot like through the roof, especially since you already have a base. Oh man, you're gonna explode. So anyways, hey, show fellow support. Oh, and let me actually let one last thing. I know there's some people with like 300,000, 500,000, 800,000, a million like subscribers, followers, right? And they call like channels with like 30,000 subscribers like small YouTube channels. I'm over here like, you calling somebody with like hell, even 3,000, I don't even consider that small. Like I consider like me and Kate like growing, but even ours, like this is still, she has 680 subscribers. Like that's 680 real people who clicked on something, and believe me, YouTube filters out bots. If any of those are not real, it'll get rid of them. And if any of mine are not real, they'll get rid of them. So it's not bots following us. They're real people, especially because that's why they're following her, for real solutions. They're not following her because they want to go to Disneyland. The people aren't following me because they want to go to Disneyland and splurge. They're following us because they want economic solutions, real solutions for their lives. Okay, I'm done. I'm not going to preach anymore. Great job, Kate. Yeah. No, that's all I got to say. And yeah, you guys, hey, live your best life, man. You already know my solution. It's literally like the name of my channel. And even if it's not Paraguay, make it somewhere more cost effective, etc. Okay, you guys, I'm out of here. Much love. Ryan Aranda, My Best Life. Join the My Best Life gang. Oh man, maybe I should stop saying that. Oh my God. I need to get it trending though, right? Talk about clickbait, right? Hell no. But oh man. Yeah, you guys, just keep on the channel. I really do appreciate any likes, shares, all that stuff. It all adds up for the algorithm gods and all that, and the Google gods and all that. All the people that we should be idolizing, you guys. All the millionaires and billionaires. They're all of our heroes, you guys. They're all of our heroes. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna be too much. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.